Let's go back to the beginning of the Intercontinental run. I interviewed Ricky Steamboat, and Ricky Steamboat had nothing negative to say about you at all. Matter of fact, he spoke glowing of you. But the one thing he did say was he was having his own problems at the time where they wanted him to drop the strap. He wanted time off. They were messing with him.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear him say that they were, because it was true.
Yeah, he said that they wanted to stretcher him out, like all these things that he didn't want to do.
Right, right.
And he said that they gave the belt to you because you were Hogan's buddy. Is there any truth to that?
See, that's a misconception. Everybody was Hogan's buddy.
Right.
Ricky wasn't Hogan's buddy, though. I don't know if he said anything bad about Hogan or anything negative towards Hogan at all. But
he did, as a matter of fact.
Well, as a matter of fact, they were not.
He said that
they were not buddies.
He said that Hogan had contempt for him because him and Randy stole the show at WrestleMania 3, and everything changed after that. And he felt like his career took a spiral because he was stealing the spotlight from Hogan at WrestleMania 3. Do you think there's legitimacy to that?
Nobody stole the spotlight from Andre and Hogan. I mean, that was... They could have had that match, just those two guys that night, and sold probably 50,000 tickets. They didn't need us. I mean, the support cast and the matches that were set up only made the show bigger, but the people came to see Andre and Hogan.
Right.
They didn't come to see anybody else in that fucking card. I don't care what anybody else in that card says. They didn't come to see me and Jake Roberts and Alice fucking Cooper. They didn't come to see Macho Man and Ricky. They didn't give a shit. Sure, it was a feature match. You think they cared about Harley Race and Junkyard Dog? That was a match on that card. King Kong Bundy against midgets? The fuck? There was one match on that fucking card.
Right. Well, do you think there's any legitimacy to the fact that after the fact, because he said that him and Randy came through the curtain and got a standing ovation from the boys. Did that happen?
I wasn't standing at the curtain because I think we were going on, or I had already been on. I might have been in the shower getting ready to stand at the curtain to watch Andre and Hogan.
Okay.
So no, I did not. I didn't witness that.
So after the fact, he said, maybe not during the show because that was Hogan Andre, but after the fact, that match received such glowing praise from not only from the boys, from the agents, to everybody, that Hogan felt threatened by the babyface of Ricky Steamboat.
I know it sounds good, and would Hogan have felt threatened about all the positive publicity on the match? Probably, yes. Anybody in our business, if everyone's talking about what a great match these two guys had, well, of course, it's a great match because you don't have Andre the Giant, who is strapped up with a big thing on his back, a big thing to hold his back together, and he had to take two people to pull the straps to tighten them up so the guy could walk to the ring. Of course, sure, there was probably other matches on that card that were very good, that were better than the Hogan-Andre match. But the people paid to see one fucking match, and it was Hogan and Andre. Mm-hmm. And no matter how good or bad it was, that was the feature match. I had a match with Jake Roberts I thought was a good match. We had a great ending with the Snake and Alice Cooper and Jimmy Hart. And there was a lot of good matches. From top to bottom, those matches were good on that fucking card. Was there animosity? I'm sure that Hogan probably thought, yeah, sure, okay, well, was Hogan in a position to hurt Steamboat? Obviously he was. Yes, he was. And so I can understand Ricky's feelings on it. Yes, I can. I really can. See, Ricky doesn't. Obviously, he doesn't. Sure, could Vince have picked someone else for the Intercontinental belt? What would Ricky have said if he had lost it to the natural Butch Reed? Would he have been okay with that? So we don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody's asking him that question. Butch was supposed to be there that night, and you were going to lose to Butch. Would you have been okay with that? And if he said, well, yes. Well, Honky Tonk Man was there, and Butch wasn't there, and so you're not okay with that. Well, Beefcake's Hogan's friend. What if they'd have done it? I mean, being Hogan's friend had nothing to do with me getting that belt. That decision was made by one person, Vince McMahon. Or him and Pat. After Vince did not tell me right then we're going to do that match. I walked by and Hogan goes, well, what about him? Because they were talking about what to do about the Steamboat Butch match because Butch wasn't there.
Right.
And it was like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
And Butch was scheduled to get the title.
Yes, he was going to beat Steamboat.
And
I think Ricky knew that. And when I walked by and Hogan said, what about him? And Vince says, well, maybe so. And Hogan said,
it was as simple as that.
Vince went, well, maybe so. And Hogan says, I'll let you guys talk. And Hogan walks away. And then Vince tells me the story behind Ricky wanting to leave and everything. And Vince is talking like a promoter, like I've heard promoters talk. I need the belt in the town. I can't have the belt sitting in Charlotte while he wants to take time off with his wife and everything. You know, he's going to have to drop the belt, and I got to have this belt, and I need somebody to run with it. If I give this belt to you, will you run with it? I said, Vince, I don't even want a day off. And he said, I'll get back to you. And he walked away. And that was it. I didn't know. I didn't know until he came and gave me the finish. Didn't know it. So who Vince talked to after that, I have no idea. So, Ricky, if you're listening, there was nothing pre-planned about it. Hogan mentioned my name. That's it. Ricky, you were friends with George Scott. He was the booker. He brought you in from Charlotte. George Scott was a booker in Charlotte. He was your friend. He put you in a good spot in both companies. That's what we talked about earlier. That fraternity of guys. Is anything wrong with that? George put Roddy in a good spot there, and he put Bob Orton in a good spot, and Orndorff, and he put Jimmy Snuka and Sergeant Slaughter. He put all them guys in a good spot because that was his. And Ricky, you were part of that fraternity.